Okay, this continues section 3.4. This time we're graphing a line from a point and the slope. So we're going to put the equation in slope-intercept form if it's not already that way. That's solving for y. We'll get to that a little bit later. Then we're going to plot and label the y-intercept. As we discussed where the y-intercept is, that's the constant. And then we're going to count up and over according to the rise and the run as indicated by the slope of the line to a second, and then we're going to repeat that with a third for the slope. So let's go ahead and do that with example 23. Then you should pause, do 24, and then come back and take a look at that on your own. So we're going to first of all plot the y-intercept right here. So negative 1, 2, and 3. So negative 3. So we have 0 and negative 3. Label that point. Make sure you label them. Now I'm going to do this one is my rise and this one is my run. So I'm going to rise a negative 2. That's going down. Rising is going down if it's negative and up if it's positive. So 1, 2, down. And then from there I'm going to go 3 over. Now 3 over to the right. 1, 2, and 3. And right there I'm going to put another point. Now I'm going to use my skills for labeling ordered pairs. So this goes up to 3 on the x-axis, and it goes over to negative 5 on the y-axis. And so there's my ordered pairs. Now I'm going to go back to center, which is my y-intercept, and I'm going to read this as a positive 2 over a negative 3, right? Because that's still a negative 2/3 slope. So this time I'm going to rise 1, 2, and I'm going to run negative 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a label order pair there, and I'm going to label it 2. So I'm going to follow that up back up to the x-axis, and that's a negative 3 on the x-axis. And then I'm going to follow it back to the y-axis as a negative 1 on the y-axis. And then I'm going to draw a straight line through this as much as I possibly can here. And so there's that point. And let's see. Shoot, it's not cooperating with me. There we go. So there and through those. That didn't turn out too badly. And then the last thing is I want to give it its name. So y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3. And always label that line. And that's it. That's graphing. So now you try 3x plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it, but you should pause and do it on your own. Okay, so now returning, we have a positive 1 for my y-intercept. So we'll go up to y equals positive 1. And we're going to label that with its ordered pair, 0, 1. Now from there, we're going to use the slope. Remember that this is m is equal to 3 over 1. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to run positive 1. So there's my point. Coming back to the x-axis, that's a positive 1 for the x. And coming over to the y, that's a positive 4 on the y-axis. Now I'm going to come back to my center. And remember, a positive number is also a negative divided by a negative. And that's what I'm going to use this time. So down 1, 2, 3, and back 1, 2, 3, and back 1. And I'm going to put a point right there. And I'm going to label it x equals negative 1 and y equals negative 2. And finally, I'm going to graph that line. And so right there, and I think that might, no, that's not going to do it. There we go. Well, there we go. Something along, oops, I totally missed it. Sorry, it's really hard for me to graph these on there. You get the point through the lines though, at any rate. So I'm going to erase this here. So it should go through all 3 of those points, and I'm sorry I missed it for you. Last thing that we should do is label it with its equation, y equals 3x plus 1. And that's how we would graph that linear equation. And so now you should be able to do this